Farm Basics is brought to you by the Liberty Link trait and Liberty herbicide from Bayer. The most reliable weed management solution, Liberty Link and Liberty herbicide are the link to efficient row crop production and sustainable weed management.
During our Farm Basics time each week, we try to talk about a farm concept and maybe how that relates to non-farmers or something that non-farmers would be interested in. Well, one of the big things that the non-farm community has been concerned about is that pesticides we're using on the farm today are toxic to other forms of life that are out there. So for example, if I go out to spray my field for soybean aphids, that I kill all the beneficial insects, and boy, that's a big concern in our environment. Well, first of all, let's just look at the big picture here. In the whole world, what percent of the acres are actually getting sprayed for soybean aphids or for grasshoppers or for anything else? It's a tiny, tiny, minuscule percentage. So are we really doing that much damage to the world's beneficial insects? Absolutely not. Okay, the other side of it is now there actually are insecticides out there that are very specific, so specific in fact that, like in the case of the new Transform insecticide, that will kill soybean aphids and it will not kill the beneficial insect, the lady beetle.
I just thought about looking at this from a different angle, Brian. And you know, one of the problems that in the fall that we have in the upper Midwest is we have these huge Asian lady beetles trying to get into our houses so they have a nice warm place to overwinter, whether that's up in the attic and hiding out in insulation there or just right in our houses where we're living. And this year I've had a few people say, well, man, there sure are a lot of Asian lady beetles around. What's going on? Well, one of the things that's changed in agriculture is when farmers are out spraying for problem pests like soybean aphids, for example. In the past, they had used insecticides that would kill Asian lady beetles as well. If you lived on the farm or out in the country, you may say, well, I haven't really had many Asian lady beetles before. Oh, you're welcome. Farmers have been controlling them for you so they aren't a big pest around your house. Well, the good thing about Asian lady beetles is they actually will eat soybean aphids. So now there are some new insecticides like Transform, for example, that will kill those aphids but leave the Asian lady beetles alone. That way, if more aphids flare up later in the season, well, then there's plenty of lady beetles out there to do the job so farmers don't have to use so many pesticides. It's fantastic for the environment. The downside is, for you may have more Asian lady beetles trying to find a home for the winter. So you can't really have it both ways. If you have Asian lady beetle problems, there are insecticides that are safe to spray around your home that will kill the Asian lady beetles so they aren't a problem for you. But farmers really aren't going to be using those down the road in the fields because they found something now that will kill one certain bug but leave the other bugs alone, which is a great thing for the environment and for the farm.
So a lot of people will often ask, well, why do you have to spray insecticides at all? Because there are beneficial insects out there. Well, it really comes back to simple economics. If there are so many of the harmful insects that they damage or even destroy the crop before the beneficial insects can eat all of them, then obviously as a farmer, we don't have a choice. We've got to pull the trigger. We need to go ahead and spray an insecticide. But it's just nice now, and it's obviously to our economic advantage as well, that we have some options that don't kill the beneficial insects, but do kill the target pest.
Well, it would just be wonderful if the only thing that wanted to eat our food was us. The problem is there are insects that like to eat it, and that's why we've got to use things like Transform insecticide to keep our crops safe. One other thing that we'll do to keep our crops safe is control the weeds that compete for water and nutrients with our crops. Can you identify our weed of the week?